My name is Barry Young. I am the Managing Director of Brixham Trawler Agents, but known to some as the Fish Cartel.
The Brixham Market's strategy of setting up hubs all around, what they've been doing, setting up hubs around the UK where local fishermen deposit their fish, which is then transported by road for sale in Brixham. In the short term, I acknowledge that this sales outlet is attractive to many fishermen due to the higher prices being offered. But in the longer term, its consequences could be disastrous. A cartel or monopoly could be created to which fishermen would be beholden.
Started going to sea with my dad whilst I was at school, like in the summer holidays, bank holidays. I got to sea, absolutely loved it. Didn't do nothing else. I said, Dad, I always want to go fishing. He said, you've got to go to college and get a trade. So I got a trade, never used it. Been skippering this since I was 18. So yeah, 12 years now. I wouldn't change for the world. On a day when you've got nice weather like this, you get a good catch, there's no better feeling. So before Brixham Trawler Agents come along, there was just the one fish merchant. We were sent to him. We wasn't really happy with the way things were run. Back in 2019, there wasn't a lot of fish about, quite a lot of spider crabs, and it just wasn't working for us. Like, I had a job to make it pay. So I made a decision to take the boat down to Brixham and start fishing from down there for the sole season, for Dover soles. We got the ticket through and I was just absolutely amazed by the prices that we was getting.
About 2 years ago, we had a couple of fishermen that worked up sort of the East Coast, South and East Coast, from Hastings, Rye, up to West Mersey, places like that. They came down here and fished because it was that time of year to catch soles down here, so they were down here. And after landing to Brixham Market, being sort of working off here, they said, would we be interested in picking their fish up there?
In the end, I just had enough of how things were being run up here, so I spoke to the guys at Brixham Trawler Agents. We arranged a meeting to come up, had a chat, spoke to the guys at the market, and yeah, everything was all okay, all went ahead. And ever since, that's how Brixham is. They're going to start opening up an outlet in Rye, so the Rye boats can land to them, and because they've only got one outlet, so they have a bit of competition. And gives the boats a choice of what they want to do with their catch, which I think is very, very important.
The biggest misconception is that Brixham Trawler Agents is only a shareholder company. It's owned by all local fishermen. It's not owned by any one person. It's not owned by any big corporate company. We are all local people, and everything we do for fishermen. We always make sure that our end goal is that the fishermen, their fish is sold for the best price, and they get the best wages they can get out of it. One of the biggest challenges, and it was for the whole of the world, as we know, COVID. We were sat here one day selling fish to all around the world, and then the next day we was told that we can't do it unless we put certain sort of measures into place. We was lucky enough that a few months before that we had installed an electronic auction, which enabled us to sell from our own homes and for the buyers to buy the product from their own homes. We always made sure that the fishermen at the end of the day during COVID always took home a wage, and that was our main priority, to make sure the industry always had a wage at the end of their hard week or day's work. Before we installed the cloud-based auction online, which gave the buyers the comfort of buying from their own home, we had a shout auction, which traditionally there are still many places that do a shout auction. You do get antique markets, you do get cattle markets, and we was exactly the same, but just a different product. You'd walk around the market that you saw, here today. You would see the fish all laid out, and you'd bid on one box per time. But times were changing. Our producers, which are the fishermen, they produce the product to us, and we sell it on their behalf. We was asked by many a boat owners and many a fishermen, skippers, crew. They would like their fish sold to the widest audience. We looked at it. There was more positives to negatives. We went with the positives, and it was the best decision we ever made in installing the cloud-based clock auction.
It's a lot better now because obviously there's so many more buyers. If we worked down the on the market floor, maximum sort of people we'd have around each market, 2 auctions going on at the same time, like it is now today. We'd have about 25 people around us maximum, of companies and buyers. But now I think the most people we've had on the clock, both clocks going at the same time, is about 110 customers. You'll see the clock, obviously it's a falling clock. For instance, large soles are making 20 quid on the Monday. On the Tuesday, I'll start them at 23, 24 quid, see where I'll go with them really at the end of it. And then it's who presses that button first as a choice of what they take. And then once they've taken what they want, I'll put the fish back up again, and then we go again. And then until the next person comes in, takes what he wants, put it back in until that finally species and size has gone.
It's really freed up the trade. It's introduced competition, which is excellent for the fishermen, because the more people competing to buy your high quality product should drive prices up. And it also helps with general demand and easing out the peaks and troughs in demand where you have more customers prepared to take on the product.
I think you can replicate this in other places. I think it's also, and Barry's right, you also have to look at how you can boost the fishing community in each of our coastal towns. That's been something we've been seeing not over the last 8 years, but over the last 40 years. We've seen fishing fleets and fishermen hang up their nets and stop doing the job. We actually need to encourage people to go back out onto the seas and onto our, into the fishing community, because out there is a sustainable source of food that can help feed the country, can address our food security issues. And so if we're going to actually make the case of is Brixham taking business away from other people, I don't think that's the case. I think we need to look at how we can build their fleets, get more people into the sector, and then you could actually build more of these models around the rest of the country.
Car's like the hard ground. That's where all my pots are to give them the best chance of fishing. See, the cuttles are attracted to the white pot. Where the water goes murky, they can't see it as much. So when the water clears away, then you'll get a second wave of cuttle then. So we've done one string now. We'll steam back up to where we hauled them from, chuck them back in the same place. There's the next stand there. We'll go pick that one up, and then so on and so forth. We've got 21 strings, about 250 pots in total, but 300 is the limit for inside the 6 mile. But we ain't quite there yet, so next year we'll hopefully have 300. So we're going to take this up on a dumper, we're going to take it up to the market, we're going to meet the lorry driver, we'll put our tallies on, so the bits of paper with Beck and Louise, we'll get it iced and then get it in a lorry, and then it's ready to go down to Brixham on Sunday to be sold for Monday morning.
In direct response to MP Mr Peter Oldys, MP for South South East, I find it really hard to believe that we could become a cartel. We are not actually a buyer. All we do is offer the fish for sale to 120 buyers. If anything, we're unmonopolising what they did have at the East Coast and South Coast. So what all we're doing is offering the fishermen a better platform for selling their market, and in way of offering them 120 buyers across the UK and Europe to do so.
There was a monopoly, but obviously now Brixham are here, that's gone now. So we want to land to Brixham, we can. not, if you don't want to, you've got other options. That's up to you. No one's forcing them to land to Brixham Trawler Agents. You know, you get better price for your fish, you're obviously going to go there.
The most popular thing that Brixham Trawler Agents ever did was introducing the online clock. It's popular with companies that own vessels, individuals who work for those companies, including all members of the crew who are rewarded with higher prices, and indeed skipper owners who operate a single vessel. So the benefit has been equally shared amongst everybody involved in catching the fish.
All too often down in South Devon, people say we're just a tourist economy, and we're not. You come to a town like Brixham and you can feel its fishing heritage in the pubs, in the bars, in the restaurants, but in the blood and veins of every individual that lives and works here.
Yeah, don't be scared to make the change. If you like the idea of Brixham, I 100% recommend giving it a try. It's the best thing we ever done. And yeah, I'm glad we made a change. If Brixham's not coming to Hastings, then I don't know. I don't think I'll carry on fishing, to be honest.